The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Welcome back to Realtionsh. Today is a very special day because finally I have been united. I want to say reunited because I feel like we know each other, but this is our first time meeting. Bree Springs, my queen. I literally worshipped you. She's obviously, season 25 of The Bachelor. The only choice. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I've been saying it.
Here we go.
The one who deserved the final rose.
Oh.
You got my final rose.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. That's a really good intro because
Great.
Why does it feel like I know you? You took the words out of my mouth.
Yes, because we talk all the time on social media.
That's why.
And I was standing you. Did you think I was creepy? Like, were you like, this bitch is weird?
No, but it was the first time for me that there were actually people, like real people, like cool people watching the show.
Yes.
And I
like
was
messaging
like,
you
why
weird
is she
things?
watching this show?
Girl, first of all,
I didn't know
never,
people watch the show like
I didn't really watch the show until Hannah Brown's season.
Okay.
That was my first time seeing it.
that. Okay,
So-
never saw that season.
But it honestly, that makes sense to me because you were so authentic, and that's why I fucked with you
Okay.
from the
Yep.
beginning.
Because, I mean, I have to imagine, especially after being out of it and watching people funnel into it,
Yeah.
there are people that go on that, like, know what they're walking into.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
There's no way. People definitely go in with, like, ulterior motives. They
Yes.
have to.
You have to. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to because there's, like, I did the math one time when I was there, and it's, like, 0.72% chance that you actually make it to the end.
Really?
In the beginning, yeah.
What made you want to go on The Bachelor?
The Bachelor. The Bachelor himself.
Period. Okay, I fucking love that answer.
I know. So I feel kind of like a kid. Like I get so mad at myself these days because I feel like I went on, and I've been warned by so many people to say, do not say this out loud. But I went on because I thought I was going to find love.
But why wouldn't you say that? Like, why would you not want to say
It
that?
sounds so naive. Like it sounds like, what fucking rock has Brie been living under? She's going on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
ABC's The Bachelor to find love.
Yeah, well, because for someone who doesn't, like, if you never watch the show, you're like, oh, this is what people do. Like, that's what a normal person would do.
I think I was like, this is not what people do, but this is my only opportunity that I'm going to get to meet him, so I have to do it on a show.
Yeah,
Like, why not?
naturally.
Naturally,
What's
why
your
not?
sign?
Sag.
Of
Did you know
course,
that?
Of course, no. But that's
it makes
hilarious.
sense.
Because
It
like,
tracks.
but obviously, like fire sign, like Sagittarius are very confident people. So you're
Yeah.
like, of course, I'm going to go on the show and meet the Bachelor and win, and
Right,
we're going to be
that's-
together forever. We're going to be in love.
Literally that's how I thought it was going to happen. And everyone's
my
like, are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? Like, you don't even know. Like, what if you don't win? What if you get sent home night one? And I was like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's what I said the entire time watching it. And then when you did get sent home, I was like, what the fuck? I stopped I think I watched it, but with anger in my heart. And I honestly haven't watched since.
Oh, actually, I haven't either. I mean, I've been watching Paradise because
I haven't,
that's good.
because I realized you were going to be on it. Why didn't you want to go on Paradise?
I know. I said this recently, but it was because there was no one to go on for.
Yeah.
If I was going to go back on a show, I would have had to have got like somebody good had to have been going on that
Yeah.
beach, and I don't think that from what I knew of the people who were whispering about going on, I was like, I'm not going to like anyone here.
But it's the fact that like that idea is frowned upon versus the people who go on and they're like, well, I want the followers and I want a Boohoo collab and I want a fucking Tesla for free. Like those people should be the ones that were saying boo boo.
Yeah, well this season was interesting too because they kind of really made an example out of the people that are going on for those ulterior motives.
Right.
Like they're like kind of like just hanging them out to dry in Bachelor World and Bachelor Nation over there because
I heard that.
Yeah, they're just I think the show has to I think they're finally like catching on that love is not, people are not really coming on the show to find love because it's such a slim chance.
I'm sorry it took them this long to realize what we've all seen. It's like I love watching dating reality shows. Like I watch Love Island. Like I watch all those shows. Love Island. But I actually fuck with the UK version more than the US one.
Oh.
Because for me, I feel like the UK people genuinely are going on to meet people and date. And like the US one is different.
Did you watch this last season of Love Island?
US?
Yeah.
No.
It was so hard to watch.
Because they're calculated.
They're calculated, but also they're so not direct. Like they're so indirect that they're just like, well, I think he likes me, and he like handed her tissue or something like that. No. I was like, there was a stark contrast between UK Love Island and US Love Island. By the end, I ended up liking it because I think the characters just needed time to develop, and I ended up loving a lot of the characters, people.
Yeah.
But yeah, UK Love Island is just,
they don't hold anything back.
They don't hold anything back. They're sassy, they're witty, they're so funny. I love them.
And they're like, if I want to take you into the fucking fantasy suite, whatever,
boom boom room, whatever they call it.
They're
the
like,
hideaway.
The hideaway. If I want to take you into the hideaway,
yes,
I'm going to take you into the hideaway. Like it doesn't matter. You don't have to like
care.
Pussyfoot around the bush.
They don't care. I love Love Island. The show is savage though.
Oh yeah.
I'm still watching it. I'm fucking like episode 68 right now or some shit.
Yes.
But they're savage on this show.
And I love that.
I'm like, I love it too. Why do we love it so much?
I don't know. But I said,
because I don't think I could do it.
Right.
I don't think my ego could take that.
No. Because, no. And on top of that, like, you getting sent home doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you being in a strong couple with someone.
That's true.
It could have something to do with everybody else in the villa, and like that's. But I don't know which is better, like being sent home by the public or people in the villa, or being sent home by the person that you're trying to date. Like, which one would you rather, as someone who's experienced it?
That's so true. Honestly, probably just like by my peers. If my peers were like, Brie, you gotta go, like if people around me were like, there's no way she has a connection with any of these people, she just, we might as well just like save her from her misery and send her home. I would prefer that.
Same.
Yeah.
Because I don't did you watch Married at First Sight?
No, but I heard it was really good.
Right. So but you know the concept of it.
Yes.
I feel like I could get married at first sight.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because I just feel like, and I've asked my boyfriend this, I'm like, would you have married me at first sight? Because I would have married you. And he's like, fuck no, I wouldn't marry you at first sight. Are you crazy? I wouldn't even know who you are. I'm like, but you should like be able to feel my energy and know that I'm the one for you.
Kimmy, I'm dead.
I feel like I could do that. So like even when people watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, they're like, how are people falling for these people so quickly?
Right.
Like, did you ever have a moment where you were like, because did you feel like you were falling for Matt?
Yeah, I think by design you're kind of meant to fall in love, especially if you have a chemistry with someone, you're attracted to them. They check the boxes off the bat,
Right.
And I think that, Matt was that guy for me. Like he checked all the boxes. We had the instant attraction. We had the chemistry. I came for him.
Yeah.
And it was easy. Yeah. It was just because at the end of the day, you do have to remember too, like you're also on a show. And so despite like the cameras being in your face and the lights, it's like, I didn't even know. Like I didn't even know that they were there, truthfully.
That's so wild.
It was weird. So even that was kind of like an indication to me, like, okay, this is like, you do really like this person.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely an odd experience though.
Because I'm sure you have to have a moment where you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
And I think I talked about this with Nick too, is like you fall in love on the show.
Right.
But then you get out, you process things, you experience it, you watch it back, you get all the intel.
There are other men around finally.
Right. There are other men around. They're coming out of the cracks.
Yes, of course.
And then you realize that everything was so in the heat of the moment and everything was real in that moment in time. Had I been removed out of that situation and there were other external factors at play, because all of this is happening, you're falling in love in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't have fallen in love.
But that's why I think I could get married at first sight, because all of that excitement, it's like
It's
this
there.
is the person for me.
It's there. And you want to know something. Maybe you feel this. Do you feel this way? I'm very much like an instant energy, instant attraction. Doesn't happen with, well, it happens with a lot of people.
Sagittarius.
But you feel an instant chemistry, instant connection. And then in my mind, I'm always like, well, then you just work through things in the end. Like, or you get there and you work through things afterwards. Like, I mean, nothing is like super permanent for me either. So I was just like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't. Like, if we were going to get engaged, and that was it. We're going to work through it. Hopefully it works. Maybe it doesn't, whatever. But, you know,
what's meant to be
will be.
Yeah.
So even that for me, like, maybe I could get married at first sight, because I'm like, well, if we get divorced, we get divorced.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
But also there's like science behind it. I'm like, this is my person.
Is there?
I'm because there's like a team of doctors and psychologists and people that put together the people that you end up marrying at first sight, because they're like, well, I mean, obviously it's probably like production, but shit. I like to think that it's all scientific.
Okay.
And they pick the person that they feel is like best for you. And I'm such a ride or die person that if you tell me this is my person, that's my fucking person. And I'm going to literally kill for you. Like, you're my person. Yes, I know. I'm crazy.
So what's your sign?
Scorpio.
Oh.
What do you have to say? What do you want
I actually know nothing about Scorpios, but I've been hearing a lot of people talk. I mean, we're coming up on Scorpio season, but I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Scorpios and how crazy they are.
We are crazy, but I will tell you, no sign scares me more than a Sagittarius.
Fair.
Because y'all don't care. You guys will say whatever. And it doesn't matter. How you receive it is how you received it. But I put it out there.
It's bad.
I like it though. But it also
just so
scares
direct.
me.
Like, that's what it's hard to think about. Yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, I have to say it just like this. I have to just get it off my chest. And I don't really think through how the other person might receive. You know. Or I try to now.
As long as you try, that's all that matters.
And do you mean Sagittarius as in Sagittarius is who you're dating? Or do you mean Sagittarius as people who are in your life?
In general. My youngest sisters are twins, and they're Sagittarius, and they're 14 years old, and they terrify me. They terrify me. I love them, but they terrify me.
How so? I need an example.
Oh my God. I'll walk into the room and they'll be like, that's the outfit you chose? That looks horrible. You should change immediately. Like,
I'm not like that, but do you want to know what everyone tells me is that you can read my expressions on my face. You can see everything I'm feeling on my face. Like, my expressions are an open book. They say exactly what I'm feeling. So if you say something fucking crazy and I look at you fucking crazy, probably because you said something crazy.
Yes. Yeah. But then if they were to ask you,
did I just say something crazy? I'd be like
I don't know. Did you? And did you? Do you feel like it was crazy? Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, so after that experience was over, first of all, like, we saw kind of how it all. I'm trying to be nice because I'm still part of the whole community and shit. But goddamn, I hated that shit so much.
Girl, you and me both.
What goes through your mind? Like, did it feel like heartbreak, or did it feel like? Well, for those of you who don't know, Matt James, who was the Bachelor season 25, made the biggest mistake of his fucking life and eliminated Bree from the show. Where were you? You were like the top 3.
Yeah.
Stupid. Yeah. Stupid. Anyways, enough of that. How did you feel when that happened? And like, did you immediately, shortly after that, like, start rebounding or like meeting other people and trying to fill your time with other dating situations?
Yeah, I would think I was very, maybe not heartbroken is the right word, but I was blindsided. I was shocked. Like, I was in pure state of shock. Like, I was like, there's no way that this is happening. I saw myself at the end of this. I was going to be at the end of this. Which, like, I mean, again, you, like, in that environment, it's so mentally taxing that, like, you will tell yourself anything. Yeah. And that's why I also try to, like, put it into perspective. Like, whenever you're in, like, situations like that, it's like whenever they give you an inch, you take a mile. Yeah. Regardless, like, you don't ask questions. You just take a mile. And it's like, one word. He probably said, Brie, I like you. And I heard like, Brie, I love you. And
Yeah,
I was
I'm
like,
in love
oh
with you.
yeah,
I'm gonna propose to you, and you're
that's
the winner.
literally what I heard in that situation. And even if he didn't say that, I was like, okay, well, he can't tell me that he loves me because he can't tell everyone that he loves them, but he's gonna tell me that he loves me in the end, and it's gonna be this whole huge thing. Like it's really it's sneaky like that. So whenever I got sent home, I think I just accepted it for what it is. I was like, I'm sad. I'm more sad because I lost. Like it was more. At that point it was like a competition to me. The competition had kicked in.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was sad because I had lost.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you're just kind of trying to process because you're like, well, was that a breakup? Was that a heartbreak? Am I really sad? Am I just sad that I lost? Am I sad that I won't get to talk to him again? Like you don't even know what to think because you don't get to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like they send you home and then you might, and I remember saying, I was like, and I'll never talk to you again.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like you don't talk to them ever again. So you get home and you don't know what to do. So I'm kind of like trying to just pick up the pieces of the puzzle. And I remember telling my family and my friends in the beginning, I didn't want them to know that I was like broken up with. So I was like, I'm happy, like I'm good. And I think I kept saying that because I was like, mentally I've come to the place where it's like, okay, you didn't win. Like it is what it is. And I think I was happy for that. Like I was like, okay, like, I can close that book, but I didn't have any interest in dating or harping on it. Like I'm also very, I always lose this word. Like it's logical is not the right word, but I'm like even keel with my emotions. Like I take everything for exactly what it is. It's like, it's not you, close the book, move on. Yeah. And I was very much in that mentality. Like it's not me, close the book, move on. Like I'm not one to like sit there and be like, okay, I've got to like type this text to him. I've got to like try to like win him back. Maybe if I just show him who I am on the outside. I don't know if that really happens, but for me, I was like, I'll never see this person again. That's what's scary about Sagittarius is, and that's what I like scares me about myself is like so many of my relationships, I completely close the door. I'm like, same way. I will never speak to you and you will probably never be in my life again. Yes. Which is scary, which is weird because human connections and relationships are like weird in that way. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't have any interest in dating afterwards. I went home. I spent a lot of time with my family. I was like bopping around with my friends and, just everyone kind of like getting me through the breakup because it was weird. It was a weird thing afterwards. Like I was just talking to Kit and Kit was like, she immediately went to therapy afterwards. And like her therapist was like, you realize what you went through. No one has ever gone through that experience before. Like literally a small amount of people, aka the people you go on the show with, which is why you forge these relationships with them because they're the only ones that know what you went through. And she was like, it's not normal. Right. It's not normal to move through life that way. It's not normal to date that way. It's not normal to meet people that way. There's nothing normal.
Well, God, I can't say that there's nothing normal about dating one man who's dating 20 other girls, but
there's really nothing fucking normal.
No, it's not. Because like you could think that maybe they're talking to other people. Yeah. But you're not thinking they're talking to 25 other people. No. And you're not seeing it.
Exactly.
Because that would drive me insane. I would send myself home first night. I'd be like, I'm not doing this.
I can't do this. And there are people like that. There are people who get really jealous, which is not a bad quality. It just shows that you really care and you want someone's undivided attention. Like that's what shows you that person cares about you. But and I wasn't a jealous person either, so I didn't even have that like little nudge in me either. Like
I never felt like you were thirsty for his attention either, because because genuinely you were like, I have his attention. Yeah, he's mine,
girl. I'm telling you, I was cruising through. I was like, yep. Mm-hmm, yes. Mm-hmm. I was like, I was like, when are the wrenches coming?
Oh my God. And then here it came.
And that was that wrench.
Wow. Ugh.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not built for that.
But I also wouldn't have, it would have been very interesting to go on dates with random people, I think. That I didn't do. Because the first date, maybe I kind of went on a date with a random person. Maybe. But it was a mutual friend, so it wasn't that random. But yeah, even my second date or my first date with my boyfriend, with my now boyfriend, we knew each other before.
Ding, 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 ding. She has a boyfriend. First of all,
I have a boyfriend.
I never want anyone to think that they have to come on this podcast and like spill their tea. But obviously when you posted that picture,
You were like,
I was like, this bitch has a man. But she's not saying it explicitly, but that was the perfect photo. I loved it. It was just the right amount of mystery. My Bachelor group chats were going off about it.
Are you
Oh my God, yeah,
serious?
because we love you.
Oh.
Obviously. You were the only
Stop.
option. You were the only pick. And I'm not saying that like, well, obviously, but like, obviously it was you.
oh
Ugh.
my goodness.
Oh my God. Okay, so tell us about
I
your
have a boyfriend. Yeah, we're still trying to keep things incognito.
Love it.
I think it's also just because what we have is, well, prior to the show, I had always been very private. Like I don't really share much online. I never was on Instagram. I always told people like, my closest friends know what's going on in my life. That's that.
Yeah.
That's probably like 3 to 5 people, family and friends. And so now I'm in a position where I'm like, I have like the power to share and to connect with people and be able to influence people, but I still do try to draw a line between how much I share of my personal life, especially when something is so healthy and so good. Having other perspectives and opinions. It's like getting your friends involved in like your messy relationships, right? Like it's like if you have like this one toxic relationship and you tell your friend, he canceled on me again, he didn't show up again, he did this and that, your friends start to like take on those feelings as well. And they're like, well, hold up. And they don't and they end up, harboring these feelings against your significant other and they don't like them.
Right.
So then it gets hard and it gets messy. That's kind of how I feel with like relationships public facing this way.
Yeah. Well, because you've seen it before.
Yes.
And you've experienced it before.
Yes.
So that
and I still see it before, or I still see it now too. It's like, I don't even know. Like, whenever I invited Greg from The Bachelor to dinner, and everything just like exploded, took off, headlines.
They're together.
Whatever, they're together. I was like,
yeah, I saw that too.
What?
Yeah.
And if that were me and my relationship, like if that was my actual relationship, even that I wouldn't know how to handle it. Like it just adds an extra added layer of unnecessary mess to relationships that it's like, you don't want to deal with it. Like imagine that was my boyfriend and now we get into an argument about a tabloid.
Right.
For what reason? Why?
It's not even a real story. I get it 1000%, because even when I don't post my boyfriend, we've been together for almost 5 years. I don't have to post this motherfucker every day. Like we've been together for a long ass time. But if I don't post him for like a month, I'll get DMs like, are you and G still okay? You guys are my favorite couple. I'm like, first of all, you don't know nothing about us. We could be the most dysfunctional pair, and we often are, that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
But like people idolize these relationships.
Yeah.
Especially when they see them on social media, when they see them on TV,
100%.
you automatically think that they have the perfect relationship because they're so open and public about it.
Right.
When really you have the same issues as everybody else.
Same issues as everybody else. And it just puts an added pressure on your relationship. Like if I had a relationship that was so public, like, and everyone was like, I love him, I love him, I love him. And what if one day I wake up and stop loving him?
Yeah.
Then what?
You got to post about that too?
Like,
I'm like that. If a couple that I love breaks up, like Miguel and Nas.
Oh, that took me by surprise.
That shook me to my core. I was very upset about that.
Oh,
I have not seen.
Screenshot that and sent it to my boyfriend. I was like,
they need to give us an explanation because I need closure. And that's how people feel. That's how people feel when you break up or like you show up. Honestly, what I like to do, because I don't really delete old photos, but like I'll just pop up with a new man. And I don't want you to ask me questions about that. He's in, the other one's out. Don't talk to me about
That's
it.
it. There's that.
The best is
That's
the
that
best.
on that.
But obviously when people follow you, like they want to be involved.
They want to be involved 100%. Yeah. And
so I know everyone's so happy for you.
That's this the response has been very positive, very supportive. Everyone's like, we're just happy you're happy. And what's funny is like I definitely think I get a glow whenever we're together. Like people can tell when we're together, because right now we're doing long distance. But you know, everyone can just, they can tell, they know. So I think that's sufficient for people. I think they're like, Bree's happy, Bree looks healthy, Bree's glowing. That's all we need to know.
Right.
And that's how I leave it. But truthfully, we both just have so much going on in our separate lives. I mean, I guess one of the reasons that I love this relationship right now too is like we can both operate very independently, and then come whenever we're together, it's like that's what our priority and our focus is on. But separate of that, we have so many things going on that it makes sense to keep those things separate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're doing, and it's working, and it's extremely healthy. Like,
yeah.
And it's extremely like mutual and reciprocated. I don't feel like there's any imbalance between us, because I've always thought like I want to be in a relationship where someone pulls their weight, and I never felt that way in any of my past relationships. Like I was always like, I just wanted to be with someone who met me equally on all levels, like socially, academically, intelligence, like extracurriculars, everything.
Right.
And I never found that, but now I've found it all. I got it all.
Oh, I have so many questions, but I feel like obviously, you know, the whole point of this is for us to be able to answer other people's questions that they have. And I feel like we'll learn more about you and like how you moved on and your process through helping others.
Love it. I love that. I love that.
So let's see. I'm going to start with some voicemails. There were so many.
Really?
So many. Oh my God. This morning alone,
Wait,
I think I saw
exciting.
like 10 more come in, because people just, there are so many fucked up situations, and I honestly want to help every single person.
Every person, because you got to start to develop healthy habits.
Girl.
Hi, Cammie. This is Courtney, Simply Core on Instagram. I had a question as it related to my previous relationship. We recently broke up about 2 weeks ago, and it was due to the fact that, and I explained it to him, that I felt like he wasn't present in my life like how I was with him. I felt like he lacked prioritizing me, being more attentive to me, and overall slightly taking me for granted. So that was the reason why that we broke up. Still hurt by the situation, but I guess my question is, what can I do to move on from this relationship? And two, it is hard for me to move on because I still love him. We were together for 1.5 years, and if he would change and make me a priority and be more attentive to me, I would take him back. So I guess my overall question is, how should I moving forward? Should I handle this situation? Thanks again. Bye-bye.
That was Courtney? Mm-hmm. Courtney, wow.
I know. I've been there, so I know what that's like. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in a situation in a relationship where you feel like, well, you said like where the other person's not pulling their weight?
Yeah, pulling their weight. But I've experienced a friendship go through the same thing in their relationship. That's tough.
It is.
It's really tough whenever the other person stops prioritizing the relationship, because relationships, I mean, they grow stronger because you can both continue to prioritize each other. And you have to be on the same page about that.
Yeah. But
it's like another thing too is like things just change and things slip through the cracks, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the other person doesn't love you or that you're not important to them.
Right.
But it just means that now they're just in a different stage in their lives where they're just, you know, they're not wanting or willing to prioritize the other person in that relationship. And those are the toughest ones, in my opinion.
Because the person didn't do something to you.
Right.
It's not like they cheated or they were like abusive towards you. Like, you know, those situations, absolutely. Like you just get the fuck out.
Right.
But in a situation where it's like, okay, he's not really attending to my needs, but like at least he's not doing this. And like you always try to compare it to like the worser thing that the person could be doing.
Yes.
It makes it more difficult to try to let go. And it doesn't necessarily mean, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love you. Maybe they're going through something. Like you never know.
You never know.
But you can't. What I like to say is, in every relationship and every person, like, you have to look at yourself and be like, what are my needs?
100%.
And what am I willing to do without? Because in every relationship, there's going to be sacrifice. Everybody can't give you every single thing that you want.
Yes.
But if you need somebody who's going to give you like those words of affirmation, who's going to like cheer you on, who's going to support you, and like, don't compromise on that.
No.
Because you can find it somewhere else.
Right. And I think that's the step too, to just reinforcing how to move on in a healthy way too, is that she, one, realized that like, this is what I need to feel like I'm a priority in your life. And the other person was falling short.
Right.
They were falling short. So that's already step one to like moving on in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people who don't realize that and are not that in tune with their emotions or that self-aware that they know what they want. So they'll put up with things that actually probably are really unhealthy, or things that they really probably shouldn't put up with, and just stick with it out of comfortability. But I think another thing too is like, she can hopefully get some peace knowing that that breakup is going to make both of them stronger people, better people. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, you'll thank me for it later. Like, he's probably in a place in his life where maybe he's got some things going on and he needs to work that out. Or maybe that person needs to work on himself first before he can come back into a relationship. And then hopefully one day, if you know, time is right and the connection is still there, you can both come back together. But
if you're still available, Courtney girl, that's you a hot commodity, and don't forget that.
That's true.
I think sometimes when we're in like these long relationships, we forget like, I am
you're
that
hot,
bitch. Like, and I can get anybody I want.
Why do we forget about that stuff?
Well, because we stop getting cute like we used to. We put on more sweats. We're having more nights at home. We're not getting hollered at because we're not giving off the vibes. We're not giving off the energy that we are even available. So then it takes a while to like kick
get
that
back in
like,
there.
It takes a long time.
Dang.
So I get it. Trust me. Okay. I'm going to get to the next one.
Okay. I just left a relationship. It was only a year. He had 3 children, and it was a very intense relationship. And it was all positive until I got hospitalized. I have a chronic illness. I got hospitalized in April, and he went off and cheated on me because he needed comfort. And he ended up going to prison. Stupid. Don't do that.
It's the laugh.
And I cut him off, but like, how do I date again? I'm 27 years old, and I've got chronic illnesses and mental health illnesses, and my legs don't work half the time, and like, how do I put myself out there again and trust people and be able to open up, you know?
Ooh.
And be able to trust someone like that again? Because what if I have to go to the hospital again? I will, guaranteed. And the guy or girl can't handle it, and then I'm just in the same position again. I've only had bad relationships, so it's just horrifying starting over again, especially at my age. I know 27 isn't that old, but it is. At that point in time, at this point. But yeah, how do I get back up?
Well, the first thing you need to do is realize that you are a young hottie.
27 years young, bitch.
27 years young.
So young.
Are you kidding me?
See, I'm the one where I'm always like, I'm getting so old. But whenever I hear 27-year-olds, 28-year-olds, everyone, 30-year-olds being like, I'm so old, I'm like, no, you are not.
Like, you're not allowed to say that. First of all, I found my first gray hair the other day. I'm about to turn 29.
I beat you.
It's very stressful.
Beat you. I found my first gray hair like 2-3 years ago. Mm-hmm.
It's stressful. And I get that,
yes.
Like, as women, we have this clock in our minds that a lot of guys just don't have.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to think about that. They can become billionaires at 55 and no one's going to blink an eye.
Right.
So we have different things on our minds. So I get like why you feel that way, and then everything else that you're going through. I'm sorry that you're even having to deal with all of the stress of hospitals, and especially during a time like this. Like that, it can't be fun. But what do you think about the situation?
First and foremost, I would have to say, did she give her name?
No.
Okay. You have, in a situation like this, you have to be able to build a support network outside of a relationship that you can lean on, especially when it involves your mental health and it involves your physical health and well-being, because you cannot rely on another person who you've known for 3 months, for 6 months, for 8 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, to be that person for you forever.
Yeah.
So that, like, to help you get through those stages, those situations, you know, you need like family friends. You need family. You need friends and family, people who are going to be there, have your back through thick and thin. Like, those are the type of people that you have to surround yourself with and lean on. And these situations are hard for me because I'm very much that person where, you know, you do have to, I mean, it's not it should never be a burden. But you also have to be cognizant of the fact that if you're seeking out a relationship because you need someone to help you with, you know, your mental health issues, or you're depressed and you're lonely and you want someone to be that person or that support system for you, that's a lot of pressure to put on not only that person, but on that relationship.
Right. Yeah.
And you can't build a healthy relationship whenever you're relying on someone for that kind of support. So that's why it's really important for her to find support in her outside sources other than a relationship.
Yeah.
And in situations like that, it's someone that comes on that kind of like sweeps you off your feet. And how you learn how to trust again, well, you start by trusting people. You start by trusting people until they wrong you.
Yeah.
And
that's life, honestly.
Yes.
As much as it fucking sucks to hear,
Yes.
and you're like, how? That's literally all you can do. And also, you know, don't like negate the fact that you have intuition. So you can meet someone and kind of gauge whether or not, you know, it just because you had one bad experience doesn't mean that every guy that you meet is a bad guy, or every woman that you meet is a bad girl. Like, you know, it's not going to be like that forever. But I also want to say that him cheating because you're dealing with health issues, fuck him.
bye.
You are young. I need you to look in the mirror and literally be like, I'm a young bad bitch.
You are.
If you don't get your cute ass outside, girl, stop playing.
Get out there with your friends.
Stop playing, okay? Because, like, no one goes into a relationship without baggage, whether it's emotional baggage, physical baggage,
Exactly.
kids, whatever. He had 3 kids.
Wait, what?
He had 3 kids. You came in with, you know, some chronic issues, and he had to go find some comfort. Girl, bye. Tell him to have a nice life.
Men really do be fumbling the bag all the time.
Every time.
All the time.
Every time. So just, like, remind yourself that you're cute as fuck.
Bad bitch.
And you don't deserve garbage. Okay? So, no. But not everybody's going to be like that.
Right.
So, you got to
open.
have some faith.
Hey, so I was dating this guy that was 7 years older than me, and he has a kid. We dated for almost 2 years. Me and his kid had a really, really good relationship. He actually told me one time on vacation that he liked me more than any of the other girls his dad had in his life because I always played with him and I never left him. Well, recently his dad has become a complete jerk, and he would not apologize for commenting on a girl's picture of her half naked that he has slept with before. I don't care if you comment on anybody's pictures, whose picture it is, what kind of picture it is, but I've told him several times that this one particular girl makes me feel a little uncomfortable. So it just hurt my feelings, and all he could apologize for was how I felt, not because he did something to hurt me. So now I'm dealing with this breakup, and he is currently on vacation with another girl, and we broke up last week. How do I deal with this? This is really traumatizing, and now I no longer have his son in my life, and he was totally my best friend. What do I do? Thanks.
I'll tell you what you do. You find out what country he's in. See what is illegal. and call the police there and tell them that he has it on him and the bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that next
you gotta
time.
call the police.
Oh,
That's a hard one.
woof.
Yeah, that's a hard one. And I also want you to know, you didn't say your name, but I want you to know that the eyes were rolling throughout the studio for the liking of the Instagram picture of the girl he used to fuck with. What?
X.
Uh,
Next. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
what?
I'm happy that she broke up with him.
They're done. Well, I think,
I can't remember if she said that he cheated, but either way, he's on vacation
Yeah.
with another bitch.
yeah.
He's trash.
Yeah.
So that's how you move on, is you look at it for what it is. Trash. Human. Who said this? Somebody
Waste,
said
human
this.
waste.
And they were, I don't know if it was on the show, like the Bachelor in Paradise or something, but they were like, human trash behavior.
Yeah.
That's human trash behavior.
Yes.
Leave it outside and let it get picked up.
Period.
Let it get carried off.
Period. And whoever this girl is, she picked it up. She took it on vacation with her. That stinks.
Sorry for ya.
That stinks. And here's the other thing I think we have to realize in these situations, because I'm sure you're sitting at home like, I can't believe he moved on this fast and he's on vacation, probably having the best time with this other girl. Think about all the shit that you went through, and please understand that she's gonna be dealing with the same exact thing.
Correct.
You're not passing off. This isn't like this is actual trash. This
Right.
isn't like recyclables that's
No.
being turned into something for sustainability purposes. It's going to be repurposed as a diamond. It's still going to be garbage.
Right. And don't think you should tell her that, because maybe
no.
just leave them, let her figure that out for herself.
Let her figure that out for herself.
But and even with the kid situation, like, that's so hard. I guess I'm not in the point in my life where my friends are dating significant others with like any children or kids involved, but that's tough. Like, my mom always made it, because my mom dated all while I was growing up, because my mom was single.
Yeah.
I will say she rarely brought men around me ever, for that one reason.
Yeah.
For that sole reason. Like, kids are very impressionable. They love people that they can look up to. They love people they can play with. Like, that's tough on them to have people walk in and out of their lives. And so you should just know that, hope for the best. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in this situation too, like, you have to remind yourself that, you had a really great connection with that child, and that's beautiful. And honestly, I don't know who the child's mom is or the second parent in the situation, but like, that's all you can hope for in like a step parent situation. But you weren't his stepmom.
Yep.
And you're not the child's mother. You're not the child's parent.
Right.
So yes, you created a bond, and that's what you were supposed to do. That's like a beautiful thing, and good on you for even doing that. Because some people will be like, fuck you and your kid, I don't care. Like, it's not my kid, so I don't care. But like, you created a relationship, and that was you doing what is natural and like out of the goodness of your heart.
Right.
And that shouldn't be something that you look down on yourself for doing, because that was a beautiful thing to do. But now the relationship has moved, and it's moved on. You now have to move on.
Yes.
And that child is going to grow up, and they're going to meet more friends, and they're going to have other people that come in and out of their lives. And you know what? The dad is probably going to run 50 bitches in and out of there.
That's what it sounds like.
And the kid is going to be like, my dad's crazy. Like,
so you wish them the best of luck.
You just pray for them. That's all you can do. Like, I feel like it's tough. I've never dated anyone with kids.
Yeah.
But I have friends who are dating people with kids.
Yeah.
At a certain age, girl, everybody got kids. So you just like, you got to just fucking hit it. Everybody got kids. You just have to take what you can get. If he's nice, okay. He got 3 kids. Oh, okay. Like, but I think that, you do the right thing.
Yeah.
And then when it's over, you got to do the right thing for yourself.
Exactly.
You were doing the right thing for this man and for his child, and now it's time for you to do the right thing for you.
Yes. It's always easier too whenever the guy really fucks up, like when he really fumbles the bag, because then I'm like, oh well, obviously they're not the one.
Yes.
Hey, Cammie. So here's my situation. I am currently talking to a guy, and he's awesome and he's amazing, but I find that I'm kind of still having the toxic behaviors I've learned from previous relationships. Like, for example, one of my exes, he was very verbally abusive. He would
blow up at me over the littlest things and like just insult me the whole nine. So it kind of got to the point now when things bother me, I don't want to talk about it, and I hold it in because I'm afraid of how the other person will react. So my question to you is, how can I learn to move past these toxic behaviors and not have my new guys suffer for what old guys have done?
That's a good one.
A really good one. Shout out to you, girl.
I know, because honestly, to have that level of introspection,
Whoa.
especially after you've dealt with a toxic, abusive situation, but to not look at it, just to be able to even think for yourself, and like, that's all commendable, because when you're in a
Yes.
situation where somebody's constantly tearing you down and making you feel like your emotions are invalid, it's easy to just shut down altogether and not try to find love, or, you know, find yourself in a similar situation.
Yes.
But the fact that you can actually look at it and be like, I need to change this, or I'm going to risk a good thing, is good for you.
100%.
Good for you. So I guess like an overall question that I'm sure people have is like, how do I move on and not take my old baggage with me from my old relationship?
Yeah.
Do you have advice for that?
I would say that it's almost impossible, right? Because we're constantly growing. You know, I was in one of my first serious relationships, like puppy love relationships, was like extremely toxic. Very similar situation where I was very aware that my toxic behaviors were coming out in that relationship. And then also that I brought with me in my second relationship. But because, you know, the power dynamic in our relationship was so different, he never called me out on anything that I was doing. Like thinking back on it, I was like, that was really annoying that I, you know, called him 50 times because he wasn't at my house and I couldn't get into my door, and I was expecting him to leave what he was doing to come. Yeah. That was really, really shitty of me. That was really annoying. So I found myself in a relationship now where I'm still bringing a little bit of, like, not necessarily toxicity, but some behavior that is definitely immature and is definitely like acting like I'm playing games when I'm really not trying to be, but it's childish. I'm bringing a lot of my immaturities and childishness from my past relationships, and maybe because, you know, part of me is still a little bit immature and is still really childish. So I've found myself to be lucky in a relationship where my partner checks me on those things.
Let me tell you something. Y'all know I'm a powerful bitch, but I love to get checked. You got to check me.
Oh, you have to check me, because I will take something and run with it.
Check me, because I've also been in relationships where I haven't been checked, and looking back, I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
ew.
I was like, I probably should not have been acting like that. Who was putting up with me?
You gotta tell me, because my boyfriend now, oh no, he'll be like, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, really?
You want some accountability.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's okay to take baggage into relationships with you. I think the way to leave your baggage at the door is realize that, like, you don't have to take all your bad habits into your relationships with you.
Yeah.
You don't have to take things that you did before and these feelings and these traits, you know, from your past relationships into them with you, right? Like, especially if, like, you're in a healthy relationship. Like, I find, like, a lot of times women, like, start to, like, self-sabotage a little bit. They're like, oh, well, he must, like, feel this type of way about me, or because that I'm not seeing this come out yet, so maybe it's because of X. And I'm like, you just played a whole narrative in your head that literally has not even happened yet, and now you're getting upset.
Like my therapist, and I'm getting really triggered because I definitely do all that shit. My therapist will be like, I didn't realize that you were a mind reader this whole time. I thought you said your job was a TV host. I'm like, you know what, Kelly?
You're
God
wrong.
damn it.
But you're right.
But you're right. But it's true, because the person, just because you had that one experience, like we said before, doesn't mean that this new person deserves that same energy. And maybe that's the energy that you needed to use to survive that last relationship.
Right.
But that's over.
Right.
And now you get to take some new tools into this new relationship,
right,
and use them there.
And when someone calls you out for something, take a step back. Just, you don't have to agree with them right away. You don't have to give in. You don't have to be wrong yet.
You can pout.
You can pout, but take a step back and be like, was I overreacting? Or, was that not the best thing to say or do in that moment or that instance, because you have to, if you're that introspective, then you'll bring that same introspection and perspective into your next relationship. Like that's gonna stay with you.
And if you don't already have a therapist, I highly suggest it. It's the best, especially like for me. I think that's why I could relate to you so much watching you on the show, because of your whole dynamic with your mom and like your biological father. Like I have the same
thing.
My daddy issues be following me in and out of everywhere.
Girl.
Okay. And that's a whole other episode for another day. But like, you know, when you have, I don't know what kind of, you know, childhood trauma or anything that you might have been through, but when you have a healthy relationship and you have all the baggage that that wasn't even meant for you, like baggage that came before you were even born.
Right.
It carries throughout your life, and like you deserve to be free of that and to have healthy, loving relationships with someone that respects you and honors you and checks you when you need to be checked. And it's respect. It's respect. It's back and forth, and you're going to be good. But get a therapist. Get a therapist.
Yes. Have them on speed dial.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
Yes.
That's my therapist.
Oh, I love my therapist. Through text all the time. Like Kelly. She went on vacation for 3 weeks. I was like, what am I supposed to do?
I know.
What
You're
am
like,
I gonna do?
have you seen that episode of Insecure where Molly's on the beach and she's like calling her therapist, and I think it goes to boys?
Yes. Like, you're supposed to be with me all the time. You're my guardian angel.
I know. They really are, you know, God's gifts and from heaven for sure.
So get you one.
Have to.
Get you one. Thank you so much for coming,
Thank
Bree.
you for having
so
me.
happy.
This was fun.
I know. I feel like I could talk to you for like 3 hours.
I know, girl.
You got to come back.
I'll be back.
Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me at Bree Springs on Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Hi, I'm Cami Crawford, host of the Realtionship podcast. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more videos, click below to subscribe and like this video for more Dear Media content. So shut up and listen.